First reaction is all of our law enforcement officers are safe. That was the number one thing. They're safe. They executed a clean, safe operation, and the bad guys in custody. And thanks to the FBI, we got one of the worst of MS-13 off the streets this morning.
We were able to be out here in force to show the American people, to be here in person, that this means a lot to her and the mission. Safety is our primary concern of these communities, and we effectuated that today.
Another awesome victory for the Trump administration and for America. And that's thanks to Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino and their team, and the sheriffs, the Virginia police, everybody who participated in the arrest of one of the top leaders of the MS-13 gang, which is one of the most dangerous gangs in America right now. Matter of fact, so dangerous that the Trump administration labeled them as domestic terrorists. Now, why is this such big news? Because for the last couple of years, this gang has been terrorizing American citizens from coast to coast. They've been involved in everything from drug trafficking, sex trafficking, armed robbery, murder. You name it, and it's illegal, they're a part of it. And piece by piece and person by person, the Trump administration and the borders are Tom Homan, Kash Patel and his team is taking it to him. But the one disappointing thing that you may or may not have noticed is that the lamestream media is not covering this at all. And so in this video, I'm going to show you clips from the White House press secretary, from Kash Patel himself. It's going to lay out exactly what happened. And you're also going to see the meltdowns from the leftists. That's right. The left-wing extremists, the libtards, are melting down over this MS-13 gang leader being arrested and how they feel. What you're going to see Kristi Noem, the National Security Advisor, what she does to deter any future illegal immigrants has liberals in a meltdown. So I'm going to show you all of those clips, and we're going to get into that in this video. So we're going to start off with this article from Straight Arrow News, one of the few credible outlets that is sharing the information of what happened. And if this would have been the Biden administration, it would have been breaking news on every lamestream media outlet in the country. But since it's the Trump administration, they're trying to bury it because they're keeping the media cycles dominated with this weak and whack hoax created by Jeffrey Goldberg, the same one that started Russia, where he claimed that all of these war plans were leaked out in this group chat, which we now learn to be a secure app that all CIA members use, that he was invited by mistake, and they're still investigating who did that, but that there was no classified information and there was no war plans in it. But it's dominating the media cycle. So we're not talking about the ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia that President Trump ushered in. Where's the ceasefire on the Black Sea? We're not talking about the fact that illegal immigration is down 96% under the Trump administration. We're not talking about the fact that crime is down. We're not talking about the fact that the price of food and gas is going down. We're not talking about any of that stuff because we're focused on this Jeff Goldberg wax story that the Democrats are choosing as the hill that they're going to die on again. So let's get into this. Feds arrest MS-13 gang leader for the East Coast in Virginia. Attorney General Pam Bondi reportedly took part in an operation in Northern Virginia that led to the arrest of a reputed gang member. Bondi later said at a news conference that the man arrested is one of the leaders of gang MS-13. She did not identify him by name, but said he is 24 years old from El Salvador and that America is safer now that he is in custody. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin told reporters that a 4-week operation culminated with this high-profile arrest and said that the reputed gang member would be sent out of the country. As a matter of fact, Deputy FBI Director Kash Patel did a semi-press conference where he breaks down what they did, what they discovered. And one of the best things he did as a leader is champion his team. That's why I know we got the right man for the job. But check this clip out of Kash Patel. Then we're going to get into the next clip from the White House press secretary. And then you're going to see this left-wing libtard meltdown. Check this clip out.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. And we're going to continue to let good cops be cops across this country. President Trump gave us the executive decision to go after and safeguard our communities. General Bondi is our warrior of justice leading that charge. Governor Youngkin, it's an honor to be a partner in this operation with you and U.S. Attorney Siebert. This is the mandate we have. Right now, we have an American dying every 7 minutes from a drug overdose. That is a national security crisis we have not seen ever before. We have a woman or child being raped every 6.5 minutes in this country. We have a homicide twice an hour. No part of that metric is a safe and secure America. But thanks to the brave leadership of this administration and the folks that you see here, we are returning our communities to safety. As you heard, we took down this morning a top leader of MS-13. That is not done easily. That is done with brilliant law enforcement.
If you're enjoying this video and you like the content, do me a solid, hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a Cash App or a Super Chat, but you hitting that like button, that is currency. It helps by spreading the video around. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. On the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. So once you subscribe, hit that notification bell and then select all. That way you will be notified when I upload new videos. And that is awesome work on behalf of Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and like I said, the FBI team as a whole. But let's hear how the White House feels about what's going on. And again, let's pay attention to something. Since it's the Trump administration, the mainstream media is going to ignore it. And then they want to point out things like they're so concerned about security leaks when Hillary Clinton had the 33,000 emails where real classified information and documents were transferred. She bleached and destroyed them after being subpoenaed. Let's talk about the Afghanistan debacle, because the Democrats are calling for Pete Hegseth to be fired. But yet, when we withdrew out of Afghanistan, 13 American servicemen were left behind and killed. But yet, Mark Milley wasn't forced to step down. As a matter of fact, the Democrats got reinforced and doubled down on the fact that they needed to support him. As a matter of fact, the Biden administration didn't fire anybody, whether it be over open border policies, over inflation going crazy, over the debauched withdrawal out of Afghanistan. But now, over a group chat on a secured app that is authorized and utilized by the CIA that had no classified information, now they want to hold somebody accountable and somebody needs to be fired. These left-wing extremist libtards get on my nerves, because it's not about policy with these people. It's all about tit for tat, disruption, and chaos. So let's get into hearing what Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, has to say about it. And then I'm going to show you what these left-wing libtard meltdowns are all about. Check this clip out.
I want to commend President Trump and our great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, our FBI Director, Kash Patel, and Tom Homan. This is what happens when you have competent federal leadership at the top, working with state and local law enforcement on the ground to put bad guys in jail. And this is a directive that has come from President Trump here at the White House to law enforcement agencies across the country. This president has your back, and he is going to support you as you pursue illegal immigrants and you pursue violent criminals in American communities. This individual who they arrested today was a national ringleader of the brutal MS-13 gang, a gang that the previous administration, Joe Biden and his cabinet and his team, allowed to infiltrate in our country. And now President Trump and his team are cleaning up that mess by arresting these individuals. And this took place 30 miles outside of Washington, D.C., where you have politicians and mainstream media journalists who live in this city and who have derailed against the president and his crackdown on illegal immigration and on violent crime. They should be grateful that monsters like this are no longer going to be living in their communities, thanks to the great leadership of President Trump and everybody who was on the ground. They were working throughout the night, no sleep for this team, to make the lives of the American people safe.
Now, one thing I want to make sure that we point out, you pay attention to what she said, is they captured this individual 30 miles outside of D.C. So you got the leader of one of the most dangerous gangs in the country living literally right by Congress, senators, and the White House. But yet the left-wing extremists, they want to have a meltdown, just like that activist judge, Boasberg, who wanted the plane turned around that had 261 Trinidad savage gang members on their way to the prison over there in Venezuela. And they wanted it turned around and brought back here. And so now that there's another arrest, and he's the main name, but there's a roundup of a number of people. And what happened is Kristi Noem went and did a press conference, so to speak, to detour anybody that's thinking about coming over here illegally, especially these hardened criminals. She sent them a message, and the message sent liberals into a complete tailspin meltdown. Matter of fact, check the clip out.
CCOT today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
I think is going to open up a lot of eyes. I think illegal aliens, most vulnerable, are not going to spend their life savings to hand it to a criminal cartel to come to the United States, knowing we end at catch and release. You're not going to be released in the United States. You're going to be deported immediately. And as the Secretary said, we got a lot of tools in the toolbox. El Salvador prison's one. We got Gitmo. We got other countries. So for those countries who push back on taking their criminal nationals back, we'll send them to another country. We got a lot of tools in this toolbox. Again, President Trump's a game changer. We got illegal immigration on board down 96% because of the policies of the Trump administration. And we got, let's say, record number of criminals. We still got a lot more to do in the interior, but we got the right team put together. This is the greatest team I've seen in my over 40 years serving as a special agent, a border agent. I've never seen a team this serious about making this country safe. We got a great president. He's got a great team. So I wake up every day like a kid in the candy shop, getting ready to go to work. And I know we're making a difference every day.
Yeah, so as you see there, Kristi Noem standing right there in the El Salvadorian prison with the gang members behind her, sending a message saying, if you come here, this is what will happen to you, because we will catch you and we will deport you. Now, you would think every American citizen will be happy about that, getting our streets safer, getting retribution for Lake and Riley, and for the millions of others who lost their lives through fentanyl that have come across the border. But no, the liberals have a meltdown about some of the most outrageous stuff. You just wouldn't believe it. As a matter of fact, check this clip out and I'll let you see for yourself. Check this out.
If you haven't seen the Kristi Noem videos, you need to go watch them right now. This is probably top 5 most disgusting things I've literally ever seen, let alone it coming from a member of an administration. There's actually literally nothing you could tell me that every one of those people, every one of those person did that. I actually don't care. I don't care. There's in no point in time that it is appropriate or humane or makes any form of sense to stand in front of these people and use them as literally as press propaganda. The way she is standing in front of these people, piled on each other, shirtless, I literally had one thought come to mind, and it sent literally shrills down my back. Not to mention the fact that it's not about what they've done. It's just purely about racism. That's it. That's all it's about. I already think she's one of the worst people to walk this planet of Earth, but that is an entirely it's like, how do things keep getting worse? You're like, it's not possible. It's not possible that it could be worse. And then you're like, oh my literal God, you actually don't care. You actually don't care. You're literally standing in front of these people and using it as a photo op. That is so, the way you can see them move, full, not blurred, by the way, full faces, full identities, literally in this video. I don't even know what you say at this point. I don't even know what you say. It's literally only the people. The people are the only ones that are speaking.
When I decided to leave the church at 18, it wasn't because I hated Christianity. I'm actually extremely thankful for the sermons that I got to hear every single Sunday, because those sermons have made me into the person I am today. The people that filled the pews next to me were the people that made me leave Christianity. We were hearing the same sermons, but we had completely different reactions to them. The people next to me decided to vote for people like Donald Trump, a person that stands against everything that we were learning in church. Let's use Kristi Noem as a prime example of why I left the church. She loves to claim that she's a woman of God and proudly wears a cross around her neck. But then she's proudly posing in front of people in cages in a place that exemplifies abuse, hatred, and just downright cruelty.
These left-wing libtards like her and that previous woman are sitting up here talking about, oh, I love Christianity because of this, and the Trump supporters, while she's supporting abortion on demand. She's supporting transgenderism being taught to our children in elementary school. She was a supporter of open borders, which has fentanyl coming across, killing millions of Americans. But she's talking as if her leaving Christianity made her so much better than everything, because she supports defunding the police and sex changes for minors and all of this stuff. And that some way makes her a much better person than a Christian who may want somebody to, to build a family and love their child and get them a spouse and build a foundation off of that. Oh, no, that's evil. Kristi Noem wanted to get criminals out of our country. And those people that were standing behind her are the same ones that have given a chance would sexually assault her, would brutalize her, and would sex traffic this same woman complaining in a minute. And you know who she'd be screaming for? Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and a leader like the Trump administration to come get her. Because if it's the Biden administration, you might as well wrap it up. Like those other hostages we had that he didn't try to get back or do anything for. All of a sudden, the Trump administration comes in, and within the first 2 months, boom, people get released. It's magical. It's amazing what happens when you give and you show peace through strength. But I just wanted to jump on here and really give you all a take of exactly what's going on, the great news, and where you can hear some of the BS coming out of some of the Democrat base, which is just astounding. But kudos to Pam Bondi and her team, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, the entire Trump administration, and congratulations to you as an American patriot for the good news that came across our feed today. And that's the second great story. The other awesome story, I did a video on that earlier today, was about the Tesla terrorist being captured, arrested, and is going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So today, March 27th, has been an amazing day. And as always, if you've watched the video this far, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And as always, if you haven't liked the video, share the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.